So I did this post yesterday, and like I said, she posted in family law, she posted in inheritance, she posted in am I the a-hole, she posted in several different places. So when she started answering questions, she was answering questions on different forums. But these are rich people problems, and this woman is in love with this man. Anyways, the post: surprised by a widow's clause in my husband's estate planning, normal or controlling. I'm not going to do this whole post because I did it yesterday, but I will highlight this part. She says, if he passes before me, I won't be receiving a lump sum inheritance or full control of the estate. Instead, a trust will pay me a monthly stipend for the rest of my life. However, if I enter into a new romantic relationship, whether it's remarriage or even cohabitation, the payments will stop. And yesterday in the comments, it says even if she were to be in a casual relationship or had sexual relations with someone else, the payments will stop. I don't know how they will be checking for that, but that's what she said in the comments yesterday. Also yesterday in the comments, it came out that she works for her dad. She has a title, even though she's technically a stay-at-home wife. She does get an income from her dad where she's like a secretary or something like that. So yesterday she said she's getting ready for work and then she's going to talk to her dad. And that's where the update comes in. She says, update: my father approved of the clause and trust my husband has set up. He didn't approve of me not knowing, but this weekend he and I will begin steps to do the exact same. So apparently if she can set this type of thing up herself, her family must have money. That's what I took away from just that first update. And then she says, also, a lot of you said get a massive life insurance policy on my husband and be done with that. Well, apparently that needs approval from my husband. And he said no. When I asked, he said I didn't need it. Edit 2, answering some questions I keep getting. 1, I signed a prenup as one of the conditions of getting married. Number 2, the clause said cohabitation, casual sexual encounters, remarriage, and anything in between will forfeit my monthly stipend. And number 3, in the event that I forfeit the stipend, a portion of the funds will be distributed among all of his employees, and the remaining balance will be allocated to his minor cousin. All right, so there she is answering some questions. Edit number 3. I appreciate the concern about struggling and being homeless, but we are not actually broke. My own family is very wealthy, and my husband is independently wealthy. So if all signs of my husband's existence vanished tomorrow, I'd be okay. That's the reason why I said these are rich people problems. She is perfectly fine. If he divorced her right now, she would still be fine. At 4, I have no intentions of dating, remarrying, or pursuing anyone else. My husband is the love of my life, my dream person. For years, I had to watch him be with someone I didn't believe truly valued him. So I'm incredibly grateful to be where I am with him now. That said, I do find some of his conditions a bit restrictive. I've always believed that we can't control when or with whom we fall in love. Life is unpredictable that way. You just never know. So regardless, this is her dream man. She's not going anywhere. Yes, he is controlling, but this is her controlling man. So I'm glad that she put out these edits. We can now close this because she's not going anywhere. She's perfectly fine with these conditions. Useful experience says, your father and husband are jerks. I understand it being cut off if you remarry. It'd be the exact same for alimony, but not for simply going to dinner with the opposite sex. Queen Victoria was considered odd for not dating again after Albert, so he's literally casting you back to medieval times. What on earth was your dad thinking? Your husband is an ass, but your dad is meant to be looking out for you, not your a-hole husband's pride after he's not even alive. And here's the OP. She says, my dad is all for independence, kinda. He told me it makes sense because my husband's trust doesn't need to fund whatever endeavors I choose to pursue after he's gone, and the same for me, which is why we will be taking similar steps this weekend. Okay, so there's dad's thinking. Then useful experience says, does he have a crystal ball to be that certain of what the future holds? If so, can he give me next week's lottery numbers, please? Blue Cola says, so say your husband died suddenly at 40. He really expects you to be lonely for a good 50 years? Also, will someone be following you around so you don't have sex? This condition is weird and controlling. She says, I don't know how he's got it set up. Blue Cola says, it all sounds so weird to me. Someone else in the comments, and I didn't take the screenshot, asked her how much the stipend was supposed to be after the husband died. And the stipend, she was like 8,000 plus. And then she she had to clarify $8,300 per month is the stipend. So she put that out there. So, like I said, these are wealthy people problems, and she loves this man. She's not going anywhere, and her daddy approves. So there's that. Case closed. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think of this update. This short post right here in the small business subreddit speaks to exactly how these tariffs are about to decimate small business owners, small businesses. So this person says, Chinese aluminum parts tariff 73% before Trump's latest increase. And we know the latest increase is going to $104. So this person says, we have a small business and ordered $3,380 worth of aluminum parts from China. Parts entered the United States on March 31st. DHL requires $2,483.21 for import duty, or they will send the parts back in 5 days. When we ask for a bill, this is what DHL sent. Can this be right? So the import duty is about $2,500 on parts that are $3,300. And since the tariff is now 104%, the import duty is going to be more than $3,300, because now the import duty is 104% of the cost of the goods, or the worth of the goods. What small business is going to be able to absorb that tariff? And the tariff is not paid by these countries. The tariff is paid by the people that order these products. 100% is going to harm so many people. So here's the receipt that DHL provided this person. $3,300 worth of stuff with the import duty of close to $2,500. Who's going to be able to survive this? People are not really thinking. They're like, yeah, short-term pain, but doubling your cost overnight, and it's nothing. You're not getting double the parts, or double the equipment, or double the clothes. It's going to decimate people. It's going to take people out. It's going to bankrupt people. And if you bankrupt these small businesses, that means that people are going to lose their jobs. If this small business had employees, those employees are going to lose their job. They're going to lose their ability to pay their bills because of this. These tariffs are going to tear through this country. So this moderator locked the post. This moderator says, another post overtaken by politics. Comments locked as discussion of this issue relevant to small business have been abandoned. And this is relevant. Politics is relevant, because without politics, this person's costs wouldn't have almost doubled overnight for no particular reason. So we have to put blame solely on Trump and his Trump tariffs. This is political, and this was a cowardly thing to do, to lock it because of politics. This person says, you are being hit with 4 tariffs. 25% on basically everything from China from Trump, part 1. 25% aluminum specific tariff from March 12th. 20% on all Chinese goods, also from early March. 2.5% tariff on other aluminum parts. Not sure why you got hit with 2 aluminum tariffs without knowing what the parts are and digging into the tariffs themselves. Welcome to the war. Edit. The 2.5% is the base duty, which has pretty much always been there. It just shows the category, which happens to be aluminum parts. This was the general base duty on everything before Trump trade war part 1. Separate Heat says you can expect to add 34% to all future orders, with the possibility of an additional 50% increase after this week. This brings the total potential increase to 156.5%. I operate several small manufacturing businesses that depend on parts sourced from around the world to fabricate and assemble our products. We are on the verge of experiencing supply chain shortages that could shut down our factories. This trade war is poised to destroy American manufacturing. 777-300-ER says it's really frustrating that the average American has no idea what's going on with the tariffs and global trade. They think they are sticking it to other countries and bringing America back, when in reality, all of this is going to set America back a lot, essentially removing us from the global economy. Logan says that's a little old. We're already at 85%. This morning just became 104%. And then Owen Leaf said, at any moment, if the U.S. releases their official list of countries who buy oil from Venezuela, that will instantly jump another 25% to 129%. Not to mention the USTR China ship levies that seem likely at this point if you use any ocean freight whatsoever. Logan says, yep, disaster. Fart Memory says, add that new 50% tariff after today. E. Rao says, yeah, my sister has a small shop dealing with some cardboard and plastic stuff made in China. She was running numbers today with a 104% tariff to see how to keep the business afloat. I didn't bother her to ask what added up to 104%, but it was some of this cumulative stuff, and they aren't even dealing with metals. Not political, but I encourage everyone to let Congress know they're destroying our businesses. I have family in South America, and the 100% import duties in electronics really keeps these countries backwards compared with the United States. If we have over 100%, here we're doomed. Welcome to Venezuela. I'm Screwed 3000 says she's preparing for the new 50% retaliation to the 34% Chinese retaliatory tariffs. This is nuts. I meant the tariff wars are nuts, not your sister. Okay, so I just needed to show y'all this example as far as how these tariffs are about to tear people up. We need to see these numbers and know and understand when businesses start closing because they can't afford their goods or their products or their clothing or whatever to sell, because you're not going to pay double. You're not going to have a widget that you used to pay $10 for and pay $20 for it. You're not going to do that. You're going to say, no, I don't really need that widget right now. And you're not going to buy it. And so these companies are going to end up having to close their doors. If these businesses close their doors, their employees are going to not have a job. All of this is political. All of these political decisions are going to jack people up. Let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So I was tagged in this post a few times yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to read it until last night. The title was a little confusing. He says, 40 years of marriage, at 20 years, infidelity, not uncovered until 40. Okay, so that was a little iffy to me. And I am going to come back to this post. But first, let me show you the comment that made me stop and go back and actually read it. This was the comment that made me go back and actually read it. Muffin Comfortable says, Bourbon Bougie, read this story on retroactive anger. In my opinion, he did not leave her 20 years ago because she was still of use to him, and won't leave her now in old age because of the same. He had to make her pay. So this is retroactive anger, and he doesn't want to give up his wife appliance. That's how Muffin Comfortable is interpreting it. Now, let's go back and read the story. Okay, so here's the post. He says, my wife and I just celebrated 40 years of marriage. It's a wonderful marriage with great kids, great properties, businesses we've created, etc. In 2005, I was working in a global business consulting role, so I was out of the house traveling consistently. My wife was working 40 hours a week at her job, taking care of 2 teens, and working on our son's football club. She was trying to get back to college to complete her degree. Times were rough. I was not around. She was super busy, and she felt as if she didn't matter any longer. So what he just described in that paragraph alone tells me that she was a married single mother right there. She was doing it all alone, and he got to be in and out, just pop in, show his face, and leave. That's what I read with that paragraph right there. She ended up in one of my best friend's arms. A month of infidelity. When she called it quits, he came to me and told me about it and begged me not to tell his wife. I didn't. I dealt with the anger and hurt and let it go. This week, I had a personal event where a lot of life hit me at once and I crashed hard. My family came to my rescue and told me I needed to get counseling and to learn new and better way or methods to deal with my stresses and such. I also made up my mind to come clean with my spouse. I found the courage to ask my wife out loud in front of family why she didn't just stay with the man she had an affair with years ago. Stunned silence. No one but me and her knew of this infidelity situation, and she had no idea that I knew. She was taking it to her grave if I hadn't kicked the sleeping dog. Well, it broke. The news was like living it all over again. She quickly admitted it was stupid and a huge mistake on her part, but that she was to blame. Only her. She did it to get her ego up, her self-esteem up. She admitted everything I already knew. So the news wasn't what hurt me. It's the 20 years she kept it from me. We have a great relationship. 20 years of not talking about it never got in the way of life. We've grown as we should have in our marriage. But now we have to get counseling because she's not capable of fixing it on her own, and her guilt has been creeping into our marriage more often than not. I'm no angel. My job demands at the time my pushing her to handle everything more than likely added fuel to her infidelity. She knows she should have come to me first. She knows she should have never done this, but she did. I have to deal with this in a very different way now that the past 20 years of a 20-year marriage has come to pass. I'm in no rush to ruin my marriage over this misstep. I'm in no mood to divorce and remarry or never marry. Break up my life into little pieces to serve what purpose? Yeah, it's simply not worth it, so I must forge on with her and keep her from ever feeling that lonely or misused again. We are going into couples counseling after I and she receive individual counseling. Am I crazy? Have I lost everything already? I just don't realize it. What should I do? So this man embarrassed her publicly for something that she did 20 years ago. Put it out there, put her on Front Street. But he's staying with her because he knows that he benefits from her. And now since he's staying with her, he looks kind of like a good guy. See, I forgave you for all that you did to me. And then what he did to her as far as neglecting her in the relationship and leaving her to be in this relationship alone, that kind of gets pushed to the side because she cheated on him, which she did. She did cheat on him, and she has to own that part of it. But the fact that he was able to bring it to the whole, like everybody, she's probably extra apologetic. She's probably, having to explain herself to her kids and everything because of how he decided to do this. This where he says right here, I'm no angel. You are absolutely not an angel. This man is not an angel. The way he bum rushed her and then embarrassed her. And now she's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you forgave me. We can have this beautiful relationship. He used that as a weapon. He knows now that she's not going to leave because I don't know, because he's benevolent in his forgiveness or something. I don't know. But like Muffin Comfortable says, he was getting something out of marriage because she was handling everything while he was gone. Now she's going to cater to his whims so she can be on so she can get on his good side and oh my God, he forgave me. And she's probably been feeling so bad about this for a long time, and he knows it. So he knows that he's going to get a lot out of this woman now, even though she's been publicly humiliated. Okay, so let's do some of these comments. Mermaid Lily says, I don't know, man. You made the choice to completely humiliate her in front of the whole family, and it sounds like you're viewing this as some kind of courageous act. If I were her, I'd be questioning why you brought it up now, and most importantly, why you brought it up in front of everyone. It sounds like you just wanted to hurt her by bringing this to light in a way that took away her entire support system. She betrayed your trust 20 years ago, and you just betrayed her in a completely different way. So you don't want a divorce, but you just wanted her to lose everyone else. I'm so confused by what you did. Your Sledgehammer says, right. Seems like he's been keeping this in his back pocket as ammo to use when he really wanted to punish her or make a splash. Unfair Finger says, and you know what? He timed it with precision. In a moment when everyone was converging on him, insisting that he get help for his inability to manage stress. He chose to redirect the negative attention to her. He waited until everyone was there. He served her right up on a platter, and then he made it seem like she was the reason for his breakdown and anger management problems. He definitely was keeping it in his back pocket, just waiting. Loving you from afar honed in on this part, and he made it seem like she was the reason for his breakdown and anger management problems, saying it's possible that what she did and his holding it in for all these years certainly contributed to his anger and eventual breakdown. I've been cheated on, and had I tried to hold it in for even a day, my relationship wouldn't have lasted. I'm not going to do too many comments on this, but I do want to know what you think. Obviously, cheating is not right. I do not condone cheating. There's a lapse of integrity, but bringing this out like this, I think that, he was keeping that in his back pocket for a reason, and he knew it. So I don't know, but I do want to know what you think. Go ahead, join the conversation. Drop your comments, drop your opinions. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So I've never heard of Am I the Butt Face as a subreddit, but here we are. I was sent this post. This young man says, am I the butt face for not really wanting to have a relationship with my dad based on our politics? He says, my dad, who's 50, and I, 20-year-old man, have not had a decent relationship with each other since around 2021. There was stuff to do with school. That didn't help it. My mental health that I never thought was handled the best. And there was a difference in politics. The first two things I mentioned, I have forgiven and mostly moved on from. I chalk it up to never having gone through something like that with my older siblings, so he maybe didn't know what to do. However, I haven't forgiven him for his politics. For context, I am bi, an atheist, liberal, and my dad is straight Christian conservative. We have completely different beliefs about almost everything, and it became abundantly clear to me during this last election, 2024, that I just can't look past it. I tried to make it clear to him that this election was important to me, given what Trump has been saying about the LGBTQ community and all the lies and propaganda that he's been spewed toward them within the last 2-ish years. Well, Trump won, and now we're in this whole predicament because I made it clear to him how much this election meant to me, and not even knowing that LGBTQ rights were at stake meant anything to him. He knows I'm not straight. I made it clear several times, and every time he says he doesn't believe me, so I'm sure to him it was a, well, this doesn't affect me, so why should I care type of thing. But it hurt knowing that my rights being taken away wasn't enough of a deal breaker to not vote for him. So our relationship hasn't been the same in a while. And whenever I talk to my siblings about why I don't really care about having a relationship with him based on politics, I am usually scolded, told that there is more to him than just his politics. And like, yeah, I know that, but I can't look past it. I just had a conversation with one of my sisters about it, and when we ended the conversation, she seemed very disappointed in me, and I don't know how to feel anymore. I've talked with my therapist about it, and she tells me it's valid for me to feel this way, and I feel like it's valid, but I don't know anymore. I can't look past his politics, but maybe I need to. Politics is a huge part of me, so this is difficult. So, am I the butt face? The butt face part just gets me. I don't think this person is the butt face at all, because everything about the Trump regime has been anti anyone that's not Christian, white, male, and somewhat wealthy. So if you are outside of any of those boxes, then Trump and any of his followers are not really for you. They are anti you. They are the opposite of you. They are literally against you. So I don't think that he's the butt face at all. And it's too bad that his sisters, who are probably straight and Christian, probably side with dad because they feel like dad feels, even if they are sisters, women, even though Trump is anti-woman and anti-women's rights. But some women do uphold the patriarchy and uphold white supremacy. So there's that. So he edits to add, so I think I made a mistake by saying it's about politics. Sure, politics play a part in all of it, but I think the issue is more based on our morals. It's hard for me to want a relationship with a guy who voted against my rights to marry whoever I want. I just can't look past it. I have morals, and they're obviously different than his. The issue isn't the fact that he's conservative. The issue is that he voted for Trump, the same man who's gone out of his way to make the lives of LGBTQ people, people of color, women, etc., worse while benefiting himself. So I think that this is more of a moral issue with some politics and less of a solely political issue. Thank you for all the kind words. So there's that. Because and it is politics, because the political is personal and the personal is political. These people are literally coming for people. They are literally pulling people up and putting them in jail. They are shipping people off. They are kidnapping people. This is a moral judgment and it's political. It's all together because it's all pretty much the same. And the people that voted for this deserve castigation. They deserve to be shunned. They deserve all of the bad things. So obviously, I'm going to say he's not the butt face. Affectionate Log says, you aren't the butt face for not being okay with people who have voted to make your life hell. Yes, it's personal. By male parental unit. Casey So Random says, he's called father, sorts, IFF or if. Letting politics ruins your relationship. It's stupid. So the sentence is a grammar nightmare, but he's saying don't let politics ruin your relationship because that's stupid. Safi Pants says, at this point, I don't think it's about politics really. It's about personal morals, ethics, and values. Asanath says, nope, you shouldn't be friends or friendly with racists or bigots, especially when they're also your family. Cryerin says, question, what am I supposed to base my relationship off of if not someone's core beliefs and value? Fairmount says, I'll take, what does a privileged person who is lacking in empathy say for $200, Alex? Cram Comfortable says, it's ridiculous that you think this is solely about politics and sad as well. Animal Doc says, it's not about politics, it's about moral values. OP's morals aren't anywhere near the same as his parental units. Plotfix says it's not just politics when certain classes of people are deliberately maliciously targeted, and your dad targeted you as part of that class he wants gone, not the butt face. Pot Stirrer says not the butt face. It's not normal politics right now. It's schnazis versus decent humans trying to live our lives. And here's the OP saying, I'm happy I'm not the only one who sees it that way. It's low-key a scary world we're living in right now. Iopelli says, as a queer woman, it's high-key scary to me. English Mouse says, your father also constantly invalidates you by refusing to believe you when you tell him your sexuality. You have to come out to him over and over again because he's a bigot who refuses to believe that a child of his could be bi. It's exhausting, and you shouldn't have to do it. It should be goodbye for this alone, even without him voting for a fascist and to take your rights away. So there's that. I don't believe that he's the butt face, but join the conversation and you chime in. Let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.